This is a tasty treat for our flock. This will make them extremely ill. Today we explain the difference between foods they should eat and foods they shouldn't.
Welcome to English Country Life. My name's Fiona, and together with my lovely husband Hugh, we run this small holding homestead here in Lincolnshire in the UK. And we're going to be talking about treats that you can and can't give your chickens today. Now, we have some basic rules, really quick, easy to follow. The first one is late in the day, and that's because we want the chickens to fill up on their nutritionally balanced pellets all through the day. We also want to give them a small amount because we want to keep them interested, and that goes to rule number 3, which is mix it up. We try not to give the same treat every single time. But let's have a look at individual foods that you can and can't feed.
Fiona's touched on what you should do with chicken feeding. I'm going to touch on what you shouldn't. And in the UK we had a horrible disease, mad cow disease, also known as BSE, and that was occasioned by feeding animal waste, animal byproducts to livestock, and the practice was banned completely. So you cannot feed any form of meat to chickens, which means you can't feed cat food, you can't feed sardines, you can't feed dried mealworms, and if it goes through a kitchen that's used in processing any form of meat or dairy, you can't use even vegetables that have been through that kitchen. So if you want to feed your chickens a cauliflower from your garden, don't take it through the kitchen first.
So let's look at what you can give your chickens straight from the kitchen garden. There's lots of different things. Berries go down a treat with chickens, so that's blackberries, strawberries, and here we're giving the chooks the last of our autumn raspberries. They absolutely adore them. Apples and pears are also a favourite, but there is a problem with pips, so if you can avoid giving them the core, that would be fantastic. We give our chickens ripe tomatoes in summer when we've got a huge abundance, and they rip them to bits. These seeds are one of their favourites. Brassicas never go amiss either, so that's cabbages, cauliflower, and here we've hung some chard up for them, and that gives them added entertainment, making a little piñata for them. There are some common weeds too, so if you are weeding your garden, think about finding cleavers for them, which is also known as goosegrass. Chickweed, it's called chickweed for a reason because the chickens love them, and nettles too can be very popular, so there's lots there to choose from in your kitchen garden and your weeding.
So that's some of the foodstuffs that are good for chickens. Let's look at a few that aren't. Bear in mind what I'm talking about here is food the chickens consume in quantity and regularly. Peppers are okay, but avoid anything with the green leaves. They contain solanine, which is terribly toxic, as do the leaves, green skin of potatoes. They're all members of the nightshade family. Onions contain thiosulfate, which is extremely bad for chickens. Citrus fruits, of course, contain citric acid, which can irritate the gut but also affect eggshell production. Avocados contain a product called persin in the skin and in the pit that can make your chicken vomit and be extremely ill. And finally, this is the only rhubarb that we had left, but rhubarb contains oxalic acid that can build up in the internal organs. An occasional nibble probably won't hurt your chickens, but too much is definitely a bad thing.
So what happens if you haven't got a kitchen garden? Well, there's lots of things you can buy on the market. There's this, which is a peck of bricks from the Little Feed Company. Hang it in a mini hay net. The chickens absolutely adore it. There's also something called a pecker block from Feldy, and they come in sizes from 1.25 kilograms to 6 kilograms, so they last a long time. This one, Buddy is destroying, and it's about quarter the size it originally was. We've also got whole wheat grains, and this is the cheapest treat that we give our chickens. We buy 20 kilo sacks for less than £10. But in winter, we mix it up with mixed corn, which includes dry maize kibble, and that serves to keep the chickens warm in the winter months as they digest it.
As well as food stuff, there's some garden plants that are really dangerous for your chickens. Let's take a look at just a few. You might wonder why I'm showing you the front of the cottage. This is a hedge I planted for Fiona as a present, and of course it's a yew hedge, and all parts of the yew are incredibly poisonous. They contain what's known as toxins, and the berries can look very appealing, although they are eaten by wild birds who seem to suffer no ill effects. In the chicken area we've got mistletoe, which contains viscotoxins. They're not as bad as the used stuff, but they still can give a bird a nasty turn. But we have nesting missile thrushes, and again, they seem to eat them with no ill effect, so there's no need to overreact. Our friends Nick and Tor are just up the road grow this. This is wolfsbane of werewolf fame and historical use against real wolves, and it contains aconitin, which is a very, very potent poison. And they have something else which I think looks wonderful. It's this. This is a thorn apple. And thorn apples contain multiple different alkali poisons. But this is where they uprooted it from, and this is right in front of their chicken run. So neither our chickens nor theirs have ever suffered from these things, but it's worth being aware of them.
Hopefully that's given you a rundown of everything you can and can't give your chickens as a treat, what's going to help them and what's going to hurt them. If it's not clear and you have any questions for us, pop it in the comments down below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But if you have liked this content, take a moment and give us a thumbs up down below. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, come and join us. Hit that subscribe button and the bell icon and you'll get notified every time a brand new video is uploaded, and it's a completely free service. But for now, I'm cold. It's really getting cold now, so I need some hot chocolate. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.